Good morning. Thanks for being with us here on First Take. Skip Bayless to my left. Stephen A. Smith joins us from Philly, Chip Kelly's town. I'm Molly Karam. Gentlemen, how are we doing?
What's up? What's going on, y'all? How you doing?
We're good. We miss you already. You seem relaxed and happy.
Whoa, don't worry about it. Oh, trust me, I'm here in the house. I just got one question for my man Skip Bayless this morning. And here's the proverbial handshake over the television screen. Skip Bayless, I gotta ask you a question. Did you see that bad man last night? Whoa! Ooh, that's a bad boy.
You know, I've never done this in the history of this show. I'm going to offer you my condolences on the first topic of this show prematurely, because you deserve it prematurely, because we all know you're about to get scorched in a debate.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. By the way, the suits with the white shirt is looking pretty fly right now. Molly, you always look great.
Thank you.
Skip, you know. You look good today.
You can butter me up. You know what's coming, but I appreciate that.
Somebody's hyped today.
Yeah.
No. I must confess, I was actually looking for you to return the compliment, because I think.
Oh, you were fishing. It's called fishing for compliments.
I was just saying.
You know what?
I was just saying.
You look stunning. You know,
you look fantastic.
You look like the cover of GQ. That's what you look like.
Did you get the goatee shaped up?
Thank you so much.
It looks fantastic. Did I mention that?
He visited the barbershop.
My only regret today is I didn't wear the green suit with the yellow in it. I should have rocked that this morning.
Okay.
I really should.
I get it. Green Bay.
I'm just saying.
This is going to be a good one, people. All right, let's work. We ready, Mr. Happy? Okay, he's ready.
I am.
All right, let's do it. Coming up, it was media day in the NBA yesterday. Why is Derrick Rose talking about free agency? We'll fill you in on what he said and what it means. And is this Kobe's final go-around? And we will also discuss LeBron as well. But first, to the NFL. Monday Night Football in Lambeau. Green Bay defending their home turf, beating Kansas City by 10. Aaron Rodgers doing what he does. Listen to this. The man has not thrown an interception in his last 16 regular season home games, 486 pass attempts with 0 picks. He threw 5 TDs last night, 3 to Randall Cobb, 1 to that rookie Ty Montgomery, and 1 to the newly reacquired James Jones.
I said before the game, if you said he was the best player in the league, it might be an understatement. People are like, what are you trying to say?
Yeah, what are you trying to say?
Just go with it, all right? I mean, think about it. What if Peyton Manning, what if Tom Brady could run? What if they could move? What if they could buy time? What if they could go sideline to sideline? You're watching what that would be like. You're seeing Aaron Rodgers with the mastery in the pocket, but then have the movement to go all over the field.
Oh, Skip, Monday Night Football action. Is Aaron Rodgers the best quarterback in the NFL?
Wait, is the question, did that prove? Did last night prove?
Did that prove it to you?
Okay. Are we really asking this question on the great show that is First Take? Because it's so beneath our dignity to ask such an outrageously out-of-bounds question. That last night proved that Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback in pro football, when last night Aaron Rodgers had his way with a decimated Kansas City Chiefs secondary at home, where he is virtually invincible unless my Cowboys play there. And by the way, they will play there again, I think twice this year, but that's a whole nother issue. But we're talking about what Aaron Rodgers did, dinking and dunking against the absolutely decimated Kansas City Chiefs secondary, down to Marcus Cooper starting at one of the cornerbacks, who probably, God bless the kid. I think he's from Bloomfield, Connecticut, by the way. Great place, Bloomfield.
Yeah, shout out to Connecticut.
But yeah, Rutgers and all that. But I'm not even sure he should have been on the field last night. And Aaron Rodgers victimized him again and again and again. And he starts off with a bombs away pass of 8 yards to the kid from Stanford, that Ty Montgomery. And then he goes, check this out, Stephen A. He goes pick play to Randall Cobb for a 3-yard touchdown. Pick play to Randall Cobb for a 4-yard touchdown. Pick play to Randall Cobb for another 4-yard touchdown. These are euphemistically called rub routes. They're just little goal line pick plays. They're candy from a baby when you're playing the Kansas City Chiefs. And the one bombs away play of 27 yards to James Jones came on a cheap offsides penalty play where the Chiefs virtually stopped playing and everybody's looking at each other. And it's a free, cheap play for Aaron Rodgers to throw it to James Jones, who's basically not covered in the end zone. Easy touchdown. And you're trying to tell me that what he did last night would suddenly usurp the great Tom Brady, who should be insulted we're even asking this question after this sensational start that he's had to this NFL season. I'm not sure any quarterback's ever had a greater start to a season than Tom Brady has had so far. He did it to the Pittsburgh defense, which is showing me a lot this year. He torched the Pittsburgh defense. Remember that on Thursday Night Football? Tom Brady went to Buffalo with a high degree of difficulty against a Rex Ryan, who's been his nemesis, and he goes for 466 yards and 3 touchdowns in that game, and you're saying Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback in pro football? I won't even talk about what Tom Brady did to Jacksonville, but he goes 33 of 42 with 2 more touchdowns, and he has now gone the most attempts through the first 3 games in NFL history without an interception. The great Tom Brady, who is 21-8 in the postseason, and last seen in the postseason, do I remember Aaron Rodgers stinking up the second half at Seattle in ways very few great quarterbacks have ever stunk up a second half as they blew a 16-0 lead halfway through the third quarter? Are we talking about that Aaron Rodgers? Meanwhile, that was against the great Seattle Legion of Boom defense, which then went on to the Super Bowl, and in the fourth quarter got absolutely scorched by Tom Brady, who went 13 for 15 for 124 yards just in the fourth quarter and 2 touchdowns as he was the Super Bowl MVP. Are you kidding me? Aaron Rodgers is 6-5 in the postseason. I'm not finished. It's your question. I'm going to answer it. Let me finish.
I'm waiting for me to get to it.
Aaron Rodgers is 6-5 in the postseason, and by the way, he's 2-4 since he last won that lonely Super Bowl long ago. 2-4, and you're bringing me that a game on Monday night at home against the Chiefs suddenly vaults him into best quarterback status in the NFL? Just stop it. Molly, we could go on to the next topic because you don't even deserve to answer this question.
Are you kidding me? Are you trying to shut me down and deny me the opportunity to respond to that ridiculous diatribe you just threw out there? You must be crazy. It was far from brilliant, okay? Let me tell you something, Skip Bayless. You got to remember something. I know you and your slick self, okay? You know what you just did? I noticed how you glossed over stuff. You highlighted what Tom Brady did, and you're so right, I know it was against Jacksonville, but blah, blah, blah. You brought up the decimated secondary of the Kansas City Chiefs. Fair enough. They were a bit decimated. They had 3 of their top 4 guys out last night, if I remember correctly. But here's the reality. Despite all of that, their defense is better than the Pittsburgh Steelers and what Tom Brady went against on opening night. Don't get me started with Jack. Oh, I do. I do. Maybe the Steelers defense is it's getting better. Yeah. But the Steelers defense that opened up the season, don't get me started with that. Aaron Rodgers, okay? He went against Chicago's defense, which even you acknowledged is upgraded, especially with John Fox as the head coach right now. And we'll get into them a little bit later because obviously they traded 2 guys. But let me say, I'm just saying respectable. I'm not saying they're lights out, but respectable. We know their offense and Jay Cutler, your Vanderbilt native. That's the problem with the Chicago Bears. It had nothing to do with their defense, okay? You got Chicago, then you had Seattle, game 2, then Kansas City yesterday.
At home, Cam at home.
That's fine. That's fine. But Seattle's defense is still nothing to sneeze at without Cam. Cam just elevates it to an extremely elite level. But they're still better than most even without Cam. And then you got Kansas City yesterday. And then you look at Aaron Rodgers. Excuse me, nearly 500 passes at Green Bay at Lambeau Field, still without an interception. Lord knows how many touchdowns the man has thrown. The man is absolutely phenomenal.
Okay.
Well, it is phenomenal. Thank you very much for giving me that, okay? So you got a Green Bay Packers offense, by the way, making Starks, making Cobb, making, James Jones, everybody look like all pros because he's that dude. And by the way, I have what I consider to be a relatively impenetrable argument, Skip Bayless. And you know what that argument is? I don't have to make one. Steve Young, the great Steve Young, Hall of Famer Steve Young, sat up there last night and essentially confirmed it for me with what we played leading into the segment. Trent Dilfer co-signed it. Ray Lewis co-signed it. Chris Carter co-signed it. NFL aficionados all over the place. They talk about Aaron Rodgers' ability to throw the ball outside the pocket, inside the pocket.
Yeah.
Even that's fair. That's fair. I understand. I'm dealing with you. I'm just telling you that the bottom line is you seem to be in complete and utter denial. We all know that Tom Brady is great. We know that he's fantastic. But when we talk about Aaron Rodgers, Steve Young could not have said it any better when he said, imagine Peyton Manning or Tom Brady being able to run, being able to scramble out of the pocket and do what they do, because that is what Aaron Rodgers does. Peyton Manning and Tom Brady are phenomenal because they're guys who stand in the pocket and can fling that football second to none. We get that, and they're champions as well, which is not to be disrespected. But what Aaron Rodgers does, he does anywhere in the field. He does in the pocket. He does standing still. He does it tap dancing. He does it scrambling to his left, to his right. Even the cadences, with the way he's calling plays, drawing dudes off sides. Last night, the Kansas City Chiefs stopped the Packers on 3rd down and forced a 4th down and were penalized all 3 times, primarily due to Aaron Rodgers. He knows how to scare you to death. You even hesitant in coming after him because you don't know what he's going to do to you next. You are never as helpless as you are once you're going up against Aaron Rodgers in the flow, because he is something phenomenal. And I'm going to say it for you again, just to make you feel good. Say it with me, Skip. He's a bad man.
But come playoff time, he's often just bad. Just flat out bad. And I have to throw this in about the great Steve Young. What did he do great? What made him great? His legs as well as his arms. So he has a little bias toward Aaron because he relates.
Oh,
and,
come on.
Come on. Seriously. He wants to say he's doing it the way I did it. He did it the way Steve did it the best. Okay.
Wait a minute. The objectivity of Steve Young is something that he puts on display for 17 weeks a season every single year for us. Come on, Skip Bayless. You can't sit there and bring in the question.
I said it, and I stand by it. Okay. Now, you tell me he does it all over the football field. But you can't come back. You have no response to why he doesn't do it consistently when the money's on the line in the playoffs. My Cowboys, my underdog Cowboys should have won that game because it was a catch. We know it was a catch.
They didn't.
And they should have. Okay, but they didn't. But then he goes to Seattle, played a nice half. They're up 16-0 in the 3rd quarter. Where was Aaron Rodgers when they needed him most? Nowhere to be found. Boy, could he scramble? Could he run? Could he get outside? Nope, he didn't do anything.
May I ask you a question, Skip Bayless? Bayless, let me ask you a question. How is it that you recall that it should have been a catch because it was a catch? How is it that you recall Seattle's second half performance, but you don't recall that throughout the entire playoffs last year, Aaron Rodgers was playing on one leg? One leg! What?
He was a little limpy.
One leg!
He was getting around okay. That? Well, he's got the greatest arm in history. That's what you tell me. The quickest release and the strongest arm. So he should be better than that.
I stand by that.
Okay.
I stand
Tom
by
Brady
that.
wasn't running around in the playoffs. And look what he did to the Legion of Boom. He boomed him. He knocked him out of the park.
You still need your legs to throw the football.
By the way, remember, Aaron Rodgers is 6-5 in the playoffs. Think about this. 4 of the 6 came on his Super Bowl roll that one year. And remember, he has to go on the road as the wild card team. And he beats Michael Vick in Philadelphia. Nah. He beats Matt Ryan. No Julio Jones yet there. Matt Ryan really struggling as a young quarterback. Yeah, I don't know about that.
I love how you say this.
Jay Cutler. Wait a second. He beats Jay Cutler in Chicago. Jay Cutler couldn't go in the second half, and you're the one who said he's overriding his bicycle in the second half. It's Caleb Haney in the second half. And go look at the numbers. Aaron Rodgers stunk up that second half and almost lost a chance to go to the Super Bowl to Caleb Haney. Then in the Super Bowl, Troy Polamalu, remember this? He couldn't run. He had a pulled hamstring, shouldn't even tried to play. So Aaron Rodgers victimized Ryan Clark in the secondary. Okay?
I have a response. You know what, Skip Bayless? I recall Tom Brady, every time he goes up against an elite defense, because Denver certainly was no elite defense, okay? But every time he's going up, the Colts certainly it was no elite defense, but every time he's going up against an elite defense, a la the Baltimore Ravens in Ray Lewis's last year, he got his butt kicked. When he went to the Giants in the Super Bowl twice, and they got after him, he neutralized them, okay?
Yeah, he's 21-8
Aaron Rodgers,
with 4 rings. 21-8 with 4 rings. Case closed.
I'm sorry. You got to speak. I don't get to say something. I don't get to. What, you scared? You scared?
We don't like what you're saying.
I mean, why don't you listen? Why don't you listen? Well, just because you don't like it doesn't mean that you get to interrupt me. Zip it when I'm talking to you. Here's the deal. When Aaron Rodgers goes up against elite defenses, and I'm sorry, Tom Brady goes up against elite defenses, he has tended to not show up. Now, he did win the Super Bowl last year against Seattle. But, again, you want to bring up stuff. I saw Cam Chancellor hurt. I saw Richard Sherman hurt. I saw Earl Thomas hurt. But you want to bypass that. You want to ignore the fact that he got beat up by the Baltimore Ravens when they were healthy and they were elite. You want to ignore and attribute it to luck as to why the New York Giants beat them twice in the Super Bowl.
It was when you sat up there in Super Bowl history.
Did Tom Brady, hold on, did Tom Brady not laugh? Not laugh at the thought of him being held to just 17 points, and he was held to 14 points. But you ignore that. But you want to bring up everything about Aaron Rodgers, whose defense has always been suspect in Green Bay. He's a bad boy. Somewhere along the lines, you're going to learn to accept this reality. Eventually, Aaron Rodgers is a bad
somehow, some way.
Tom Brady. That's what I'm going to say. Yes.
All right, guys, this is fun, but we have to move on. So there is an obvious divide here. Stephen A. thinks that bad man is the best in the league, while, of course, Skip's not riding with it. What do you think? Let us know on Twitter if you think Rodgers is the best quarterback in the NFL by replying yes or no to the hashtag #BestNFLPasser. Speaking of Tom Brady and the Patriots,